Hello, this is John Ward with Appalachian Homes, People, and Places, and behind me is the Roofcock store. It's located here in Campbell County in an area called Stinking Creek. Some of you might have saw the picture I posted a few days ago trying to find the owner of the store, and thanks to the help of some of the comments, I was able to track down Robin. Her and her husband own this property here in this area now. They bought this property back from her aunt some years ago, and it's been in the family for 100 years probably now. And I've been talking to Robin today, and she's been showing me her great-grandfather's house that she owns that they remodeled, and we're gonna go look at that in a few minutes and let you see that. And she's been telling me a little bit of the history that she knows. And Robin, do you care to come up here just a minute? And this is Robin, and I appreciate her giving us the opportunity to come look at this piece of history. And she's wanting to preserve this and do a little bit of work to make sure the foundation stays solid. And if they do anything like they did to the house, which I don't think you'll spend that kind of money on the store, but they did a wonderful job restoring the house. So make sure you stay to the end of the video and I'll show you the house. And Robin's gonna take us in and let us see the inside of it. It's been maybe a little while since it's been opened up. So come along and see what it looks like in this old store. So this was a part of the store, you think, this building beside of it maybe?
That was a garage.
A garage?
Andy built that, and he went to Georgia, somewhere in Atlanta, and bought a little bus to haul his kids to school, and he parked the bus in that garage.
Okay, so we was reading about that at your house, that he was one of the first people to run a bus in this area. So your great-grandfather, Andy McCullough, owned probably all the property on this side of the road, maybe around through the creek, and moved here in maybe the early 20s, built a house, and then started a store.
Yes.
Then your great-grandmother and your grandmother, Ruth, and her husband, Ernest, got married. They lived over here.
They lived there in the house.
And eventually Ruth took over the store when your great-grandfather moved to Williamsburg.
That's right.
And so it ran until maybe the 80s, we believe, maybe early 1980s.
Yeah, maybe even up into the 90s.
Maybe into the 90s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s. She passed away about 93.
That's right.
So we're going to go in and look at it for the very first time.
Actually, I think she passed in 2003.
2003?
No, it's 93. You're right.
93?
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So it's still an original shape, looks like, except it lost one of the...
Yes, one of the side rooms had gotten knocked down by a tree. A tree fell. I can't remember what year it was, but a tree did take off that side of the store.
So I got a copy of a picture of it when it still had the gas pump, and there's also a picture of your grandma sitting out here.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is just a piece of history that is fast fading. A lot of these little buildings have been tore down and given up on, but you've held on to it and hoping to preserve it, I believe, right?
I am hoping to preserve it. We'll see.
Let's see what it looks like on the inside.
Okay, it's a mess. There's no electricity in here, of course.
Oh, wow. This is really neat. Love it. So, looks like it might have had a door at the back at one time.
Yes.
So they probably had a back porch that's probably not there now.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. So this would have been one of the counters maybe.
Yes, the counters used to sit, there was one that sat, this one probably sat more down here.
And this one was probably over there.
And then that connected here, and then it connected here.
Okay, so you walked behind the counter.
You walked behind the counter all the way around.
So probably, I can see probably the coal stove was right here,
yes.
Most likely.
Most likely, yes.
So
that's where that's where that chimney is.
So we still got some old signage right here. This is an old Coke poster and it's been covered over.
Yes.
You've actually got another one
There's
underneath
another
one.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that something? This is my favorite, the Loretta Young.
Wow. Be cool if you could get those and get them restored somehow, redone.
Yes. And we have old Pepsi Cola. And this is a cool Royal Crown
Oh, yeah, Royal Crown.
cigarette. And this is another one of those, I think, similar.
Yeah, you got one right down here.
Oh,
This one's in a lot better shape right here. So I don't know, Diet Pepsi, how about that? That's probably the 70s, I would think.
probably.
So this area, a lot of people watching the video don't know, this was a coal mining area. And you was telling me about your grandmother putting in a gas pump for one of the strip mines.
Yes, her cousin, Luther McCullough, had a coal tipple. And he helped Mama get a gas pump and an air pump and air compressor that was on the other side of the store. And it helped him fuel up his coal trucks.
You know, he probably didn't have electricity at the strip mine. Now, if it had been a deep mine, they probably would have had electricity. But a strip mine, they didn't generally have electricity, so they needed a place to get air for their tires and get gas and get a bologna sandwich probably.
Right, and she did a lot of bologna and cheese.
Yeah. So you moved away when you got married after?
Yes, I moved away in 82.
So, but it was still open. So do you remember coming down here much during that time?
Yes, I would come down with Mama some.
Yeah.
I didn't help her much in the store, but I always come to see what she was doing and see who was there.
Come by to visit with her?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, did she ever do any gardening and can stuff and sell it, or?
Oh, I don't know if she sold it. Most of her canning, she did a lot of canning and preserving, and a lot of it she gave away to people.
Oh, really? In the
She
area?
did.
Probably helped a lot of people that needed help in the area.
She probably did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she lived right here across the street. So you showed me a picture. I believe they were steps
There
that
used to be steps that came down.
come down right to the store. So she probably opened up pretty early for the coal miners in the mornings. And
Well, yes, maybe she did, back years ago, but I remember when the business became kind of spotty, they would drive up and blow their horn, and then she would come down. But she was not always in here.
so you just pull out, blow your horn, and
That
she
is
come down?
exactly right.
Well, how about that?
Or you would hear someone yell, "Hey, Ruth."
How about that? So yeah, we don't see these old stores no more, and I'm sure glad that you have really bought this property from your aunt, and then your husband loves coming up here to hunt.
He loves it.
So
he
he's-
loves it probably more than me.
Yeah. Well, you grew up here, so a lot of people like to return where they grew up at, and have,
Right.
especially if they can get some of their family's property. And so yeah, let's step back outside just a second here, and it's got some bars on the windows here, I guess, to keep people from getting in back in the
Yes.
day.
Yes, and this is old.
So your grandpa's house that we're going to take and show them is just right over here that you own now. We're going to walk up there and let you see that. And then the outhouse, there's a building out back right there. That building there, we're going to go up and look at that. So we're back up here to the house. This is the McCullough House, and Robin's great-grandfather built this house probably in the early 20s, and it's been in the family, I guess, ever since then. And Robin has it now, and they started 6 years ago restoring the house, and they've done an amazing job inside. I'm going to take you inside and let you see what they've done. They've left that exterior rustic looking, and the interior has been updated completely, and the porch goes all the way around. It's amazing. Come on in, let's go look at it.
Now, one of the things when I first came up here, I was wanting to get a plaque to put on the house. Andy McCullough was like the squire of this area. He was like the person people would come to when they needed help or advice. And he was really the pillar of the community. And he was the only one in the community that had a phone. So when there was an emergency or something that needed to be done, or someone needed to be called, they would come here, or he would get a call in from somewhere. And there's a phone. I want to show you that too. I thought that's still there.
So let me ask you a question before I forget, because I see this before we go to the phone. Just 1 second, because it'll slip my mind.
Okay.
I noticed on some of the older houses, they have 2 front doors. Did you ever figure out why that has 2 front doors?
I have no idea. But yes, I do not know why. But now this, I can tell you one thing, I'm sure it was very convenient. My grandmother's, when she lived here, the oldest daughter, Jean, she helped with Andy. She was kind of a helper with Andy and his wife. And she would come and help Julia, his wife, with the chores. But at night, Jean would leave Mama's house, her own home, and she would come and she would go in that door, and that was her bedroom. And there was a little fireplace. There was actually, the inside of this house had a fireplace on this side of the room and on that side of the room.
Was it like that when you lived here as a kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
It had 2 fireplaces in
Yeah.
it. But the chimney was so bad we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So we just made the one. But it did have dual fireplaces. And this was they didn't have a living room. This was a bedroom. And so at night, when Jean would come, Andy and his wife would already be in bed and asleep. And she would go in that door and go to bed.
Okay, so it's just like 2 bedrooms,
It was
basically.
2 bedrooms.
Yeah,
It really
okay.
was.
That's so. You said that
See this here?
yeah. That's from the electrical of the
It's
phone. You think?
I think it's from the phone.
Yeah.
I really think it is. I think it's Bell South.
Well, they also could have been just electrical wiring, possibly on that.
It
It's hard to
probably
say,
could.
but it's.
Yeah, I was thinking they said they thought that was the phone.
Yeah, possibly if they remember it, that's possibly what it was. But the wiring would have been used on that if they had electricity much in here.
Well, the electricity was put in here in the 40s.
40s.
40s or 50s. There was a man came from Jellicoe, and he put the electricity in.
Yeah. So once you started the remodel on this house, how long did it take to get it finished?
About a year.
About a year.
At least a year.
Let's walk. I'm gonna walk around the porch here and let people see the beautiful view you've got here of the mountains and the area here. It's going to be real pretty before too long with the leaves turning, won't it?
Yes, it will be. I can't wait.
So yeah, this is the type of porch a lot of people dream of having, something like this, just to come out and sit and be able to walk all the way around the house on the porch.
Well, you can get a lot of people sitting out here. It's amazing how many people, it's such a small house, but how many people you can actually have here and still be comfortable.
Oh yeah, with this porch you can have people everywhere, then out in the yard, and so I see that you have some speakers here. What's these for?
Oh, that's that is our alarm system.
Alarm system.
And if anyone opens that door, you can hear that bullhorn miles away.
I saw another one on the other side.
Yes,
So
yes,
so
yes.
if anybody breaks in, everybody in the neighbors,
Yes,
they're going
everyone
to
on
know.
Stinking Creek will know that someone has broken into our house.
So let's go inside there and look and see let the people see what all you've done. It's just been a beautiful day to come up here and not been too hot. This weather's about wore me out this
Oh,
summer.
it has me too. It's beautiful today.
So it looks like you just completely just started new on the interior. You said that you raised the ceiling up.
Yes, we took the ceiling up about 18 inches. So it really gave us enough space to put in fans. That was my number one priority. I needed some fans.
They did that most likely to keep it warmer.
I'm sure they did.
They kept the lower ceilings, and it might have even had did you change that original door, or was that the?
Oh no, these are I had to change the doors.
Was the height the same, or did you have to raise them too?
I raised the doors.
They made shorter doors back
Yes.
then, didn't they?
Yes, they were very short. I could literally I could tippy toe and touch the ceiling.
So you say your husband mostly uses this for coming up to when he wants to go hunting and different things?
Yes, and his friends, he says I have spoiled his friends. They don't want to hunt as much as they used to. They like to stay here.
They want to just hang out
They
and
want to hang out
enjoy the porch, probably.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We put a fan in here. I couldn't get a fan into this room because of the bunk beds, but I just really love my fan.
Oh, yeah.
Is that not cool?
Yeah.
And then this is the bathroom. And I did get a washer and dryer in.
So originally, when you lived here, you said something about an outhouse. Did it have running water when you lived here?
No, it did not.
Did not. So you lived here back in the day before it had a...
Well, I take that back. It did have running water. It just didn't have a... It didn't have a bathroom.
Didn't have a bathroom.
But my father put in a bathroom when we were here. Not soon after we got here. And this is this room that has this door, and we made it a bedroom.
Absolutely beautiful in here. Yep, I see you've got all the modern conveniences. You've got recessed lighting, air conditioning.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
It's great I love it when people preserve stuff. You know, so many times you see different places that just never get redone, you know, and it's been in your family for so long, it makes it something really special to you. It's not just like you bought a place you lived here as a kid and then come back years later and bought it back. And and you bought this from your aunt, the property back from your aunt that she had, yeah? Well.
Yeah.
All right. So did you do some work to the shed too?
Yes, we had to. Well, I mean, it was like that, but we had to go in there with some more of the mortar around the rock to kind of level it back up. Some of the rock was missing and cracked, so we did kind of put it back together a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's neat. Did they use it for a smokehouse, or what do you know?
They used it probably for maybe, but I think it was mainly for canning. I think she kept, Andy's wife kept a lot of the canning in their storage.
Okay. Yeah.
Out of it.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. How about that? Well, it looks like you've had to come in here and do some work because it looks like there's been some structural work done here.
We did. Yeah. We tried to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
And it worked out for Brad. Great place to store his
right. Yeah.
So. And this, I haven't had time, but I need to come out here with a ladder and finish, because this was completely covered in vines. And so we had to pull it all off, pull it all off. And I had no idea there was a window there. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's always fun discovering stuff. All right, so we've been talking a little bit about your grandparents and your great-grandparents, and then you lived here as a child for a while until your mom. Tell us the story about what happened with the snake. She was telling me this story, and I thought it was interesting. Her mom said she had enough of the country and wanted to move. What happened?
Well, they came home. My mom and dad came home from a weekend on the lake, and when my mother came into the kitchen, there was a snake that had crawled across her dishes and left its skin. So there was a snake skin hanging there on the dishes, and she said, "That's it. We're going back to town."
So yeah, you and your husband's done a wonderful job. Spent a lot of money, I can tell. You could have built several houses for what you probably had to spend restoring this, and that's part of restoration. A lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, there's a building there, then you can spend a little bit of paint and sheetrock and maybe fix it, but it goes into plumbing and electrical and flooring, and you had to level this property here back up. You said it dropped 18 inches. I see you've got nice columns, supports built underneath it. Originally, you said it had wood posts like it would have probably in the 20s. And
that's right.
So maybe if you get started, can get somebody to come work on the store. We'll come back and film again.
Yes, that would be wonderful. I would love that.
Yeah, and we can maybe keep up with what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time today, Robin.
You're welcome.
We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.